Hey guys, for those of you who have been following the channel on Instagram for a lot longer than we've been on YouTube, you might remember about 6 months ago, I received a sample from HK Young and we reviewed it. But I always kind of felt like it was a bit of a shapeshifter. It was going to change with some oxygen. So today we are going to do our first re-review of the channel and take another look at HK Young Toasted Barrel Blend Bourbon. Roll that intro. All right, guys, welcome back to T-Rod Whiskey. I am your host, T-Rod. And today we are going to do this channel's first ever re-review. I was fortunate enough last year in, I think it was early July, the good folks over at HK Young Bourbon were good enough to send me a sample of their inaugural release. It was a toasted barrel blended bourbon. So I think it was a blend of, if I recall correctly, 24 different kinds of toasted barreled bourbons. I don't recall exactly what the proof is on this. It's not on the bottle, but I think we can get pretty close to it. But I want to kind of jump in and give a little bit of background info on HK Young's. I don't remember if I did that or not, but they launched in June of 2024. It is a small, obviously, sourcing their bourbon, and they're blending. They're making their own thing, something that's going to be greater than the sum of its parts. It is a combat veteran-owned company based out of, I think it's Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I think is, it's Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And when they started out, they were really only in Kentucky and Tennessee, but in the 8 months, 7 months that they have been out in the marketplace, they've also since expanded into New York and New Jersey. So if you're in any of those 4 states, you can find this stuff sitting on the shelf. I unfortunately have to travel quite a ways to get a hold of some of this. When I was in Kentucky, I did see it on the shelf. There was 1 bottle left. So clearly they're doing something right because it is selling off of the shelves. I believe the 750s are going for $79.99, which is pretty standard in the marketplace today for a toasted finish barrel. I don't know of anybody else that has a toasted finish that's sitting on the shelf short of Elijah Craig, but I believe, that's 94 proof. I don't really think that's a great display of what toasted finishing does, because I really think you need a higher proof to display that. But their motto is their vision is to craft a bourbon experience that resonates with connoisseurs and casual enthusiasts alike. And just through my brief conversations with them, I think that's really what they're doing. They're trying to bring something new and unique to the space, and I think they've been successful in that so far. I know they've got a wheated bourbon that's coming out. They've done a batch 2 of the toasted barrel blend. So let's go ahead and get this in the Glen, because this has been sitting with some oxygen in there for at least a couple months now. I don't think I've been back into this in a while, but it's got a really nice dark brown color to it. Go ahead and get that glass well coated. It's fairly viscous. I remember this being like 115 or 117 proof, I think, but yeah. Go ahead and swirl, swirl, swirl. Got my Lions garb on because we are just a few hours away from kickoff on Sunday, and hopefully the Lions are going to take it home and beat the Vikings and secure the number 1 seed in the NFC. Okay, so on the nose, raw oak, caramel, vanilla, a lot of classical bourbon notes on the nose. Something else in here that there's a white fruit that I want to say it's like a green apple note. And then something else that's just elusive that I can't put my finger on. But it does smell really good. You could put this in a candle so that I could burn it. I would buy that 100%. I would buy that 11 out of 10 times. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the palate, because that's really what everybody wants to hear, right? Some tasting notes. Okay, like right up front, a little bit of French vanilla. And then there's like this charred, like a charred marshmallowy kind of note, like not like a bad, like a burnt marshmallow, but like a charred. It's not quite toasted because it's a little bit more aggressive than that, but the back end is butterscotch cream. And there's a red fruit in there. There's like a very subdued raspberry that's kind of it's on the back end of the palate, and it's not super prominent. It's just kind of there throughout. I want to say this is actually maybe more like 105 to 107 proof. I don't think it's super proofy, but it's very viscous, very oily, creamy in texture, coats really, really well. I would probably say this would beat out a couple of the Elijah Craig barrel proof batches of late. Sweeter, that toasted oak is definitely present all the way through. Okay. That creamy marshmallow, oak. And on the back end, the finish, that is going to be my one knock against this, is I don't get a great finish on this. It's very short. Everything else is pretty good, but the finish it's a little drying, and it's brief. You get a little bit of vanilla. You get almost like a popsicle stick woodiness, and that's it. Then it's gone. It's not lingering at all, which I kind of like see because it's what gets me going back for more, for follow-up sips, you know? Yeah, this is just a desserty, sweet bourbon on the palate. In the glass now, this is starting to open up a little bit. It's caramel and vanilla on the nose, oak, a little bit of that marshmallowy sweetness. I do like that the nose and the palate, that they match. There's almost like maybe it's like a bruleed raspberry note. Like, I know that's super fancy, whatever, like a slightly, like a desserty raspberry kind of note, not just like a raw raspberry, but something with like some sugar to it. But yeah, it's good. I like that they're upfront about it being a blend. I like that they're transparent about a lot of what's going into it. If you check out their Instagram, you know, where they're getting their barrels from is not such a mystery. I wasn't able to do a ton of research on this one, mostly because I don't really care to. I mean, good bourbon is good bourbon, especially if it's a veteran-owned company. I want to support them. I like this. I like this a lot. I gave this a 7.1 or a 7.2 when I reviewed it 6 months ago. I think that's about where it's going to stay. I feel comfortable at that 7.2 mark. Interested to see what some of the other releases are like. Hopefully I can get a hold of some of those, or they can get some distribution in Michigan, because I would love to see what else they have going on. Very curious about the wheated bourbon. But if you guys have the opportunity, or even you want to go through Bourbon Outfitter, this stuff is available. I don't know exactly which batch is on there right now, but I checked earlier this week, and when I was doing some planning for this episode, and it was $79.99 shipped through Bourbon Outfitter. Bourbon Outfitter is a great retailer. I use them, you know, for anytime ordering through the Bourbon Junkies, or when I need bottles online. Usually I'm going through Bourbon Outfitter just because they have a great shipping policy. There's insurance included, so never had any issues with them. But that's it, guys. 7.2 HK Young, based out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. If you guys are looking to support a great distillery, I believe they are opening a tasting room and visitor center sometime in 2025. But I I'm not positive. I know that was built into their initial release. I'm not sure if that's still on track or not, but if you're in that area and you can confirm, please leave a comment down below. Speaking of comments down below, please smash that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. You guys are what keeps us going. I would love to get this this channel up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. I know it's the 5th of January, so that gives us a pretty long runway to get there. But I think it's attainable for certain. And I've got some cool stuff planned out. I just sat down earlier and spent some time really putting together what I want to do over the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for more content, more reviews, got some more lists coming, and hopefully going to sit down with a couple of different local distilleries here and get an inside look to some of these Michigan operations. But that's all I got. Go Lions, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.